All right, good stuff. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Depending on where you're coming in from, almost afternoon. I'm Daphne Oz. I am a television host and author, a natural food chef, and a mama of four, and a wife. John will want me to add that too. And I'm so excited to get to chat with everybody today with my friend Ruby Deubry here in my home. Ruby is we should start with, she could be so many things, but she is a pharmacist, she is a personal chef, and she's also on the nutrition team with Persona Nutrition. I thought it would be fun to have some discussion before we get into like, what are some good habits we can create and how can we make them stick, to talk a little bit with Ruby about why do we have such a hard time making healthy habits? Yes. Why do we have a hard time making them stick? I know we're coming up on, New Year's is right around the corner. Everybody will have their New Year's resolutions in mind. If you haven't, let's start thinking. But there's always that sad fact that like 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, everybody's done. They've given up on these habits. Right. Talk to us a little bit about why that feels like the human experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you touched on it in terms of just life. Life throws the curveball that life throws in us, and it takes time and energy to develop a new habit. But there's also something called synaptic pruning. And it sounds terrifying, but it's actually a natural part of brain maturation. So if you think of the brain, if you think of synapses as these pathways that allows the brain to connect and communicate with each other, synaptic pruning is a way for the brain to trim away unnecessary pathways, which is, it's a great thing. But, it's good because it can help you with daily tasks that you don't have to think about it. I don't think about picking up the cup, putting it to my lips, drinking. You just do it automatically. Right. So it's great. Synaptic pruning is great. But it also means that there's less space for the brain to do things that it doesn't do as often, like sending that friend a birthday card that you're supposed to before it gets to be her birthday. Yes. Because you don't do it often, so you don't remember to do it often. So on top of trying to remember the things that you do less frequently, you're now asking the brain to create a new pathway for a new habit. And that can be extremely difficult for our adult brains. So I know that it's something that, we all struggle with. And I know that you have as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think we all have those sort of proactive moments in our lives. We've read something really inspiring or heard a really inspiring chat, or just have a friend tell us something new that we want to try and incorporate in our lives. I am guilty of, like, once I have something cool like that, I try to go to the extreme. And I talk about this sometimes. In college, I was like the witch doctor in our friend group. I converted, there's like that standard issue bookcase that every student gets when you move into the dorm. Yeah. There was no books on mine. It was all vitamins. It was just like pills and pills and pills and pills and pills. I would go to Whole Foods or, at my grocery store and just buy like all these different supplements that I was so in love with and invested in literally, because they're so pricey also, like buying so many different ones. And they did a whole lot of nothing for me because I never took them. And I just had made it unnecessarily difficult. And exactly to your point, I mean, then I was a bit younger, I was in college, but still, I think that synaptic pruning was not allowing for me to carve out the time that it would, and also just like time requirements, 20 minutes to get all your pills together was just crazy. Yeah. So I ended up obviously being able to use my Persona packs to get rid of the strain and the stress of that. I just take my one pack and it's everything personalized specifically to what I need. Right. But I felt like that was just one example of good intentions, bad execution. And I'm curious if there are habits you can to either make it easier within the confines of synaptic pruning, or help your adult brain create this rhythm, create this expected pattern so that you can actually stick with your good new habits.
Yes, there is a way to use synaptic pruning to your advantage by attaching the new habits that you want to build onto an existing habit. So that is something that we will,
I like this idea. Okay.
We'll talk a little bit more about that, I think, a little bit later, but I had wanted to mention something else that can be a factor when you're trying to make a habit, and it's how in control you feel you are in terms of building that habit. And there's this health psychology concept called locus of control. And so you can have like an internal locus or an external locus. And if you feel like you have an internal locus of control, you feel like you have more control over what happens to you and how able you are to make a behavioral change.
Okay.
Whereas if you have an external locus of control, you feel like a lot of external factors are involved.
Or like forcing you to create a
Exactly.
habit.
Or preventing you. A lot of external things are preventing you from making a habit.
So what's an example of an external locus of control?
So for example, I would say if somebody feels like, they have an external locus of control, so a lot of external factors, they might need more help in terms of like group assistance. They might need friends or whatnot to help them build that habit, because they have these external factors, stressing them from making the healthy habit, but then they also have these good, factors kind of counteracting that. So it can be helpful if you have like a group or a friend giving you encouragement, making you accountable. And even if you have an internal locus of control, just creating a habit with a friend can be very, very beneficial. So
yeah, because kick your butt in motion.
Yeah,
Don't forget, we agreed. We said
exactly.